What's going on, party people? My name is Solomon, and I am an artist, and thus I go by Solomon the Artiste. You will not believe this, but I did this yet again. I started filming, it was going great, and checked and realized that the microphone was not on. Kudos to me. I'm basically an old fart. But this video today, if you should be able to see by the title, is about artists supporting artists. I talk about this all the time in my general life, on my social media. I believe that artists should and need to support one another. And that can mean a multitude of things, whether it's simply sharing that, this friend has a clothing line coming out, this friend is releasing a music video, this friend is releasing an album, this friend is selling jewelry, this friend paints, this friend dances, whatever it is. The simple act of, a retweet, sharing on Instagram, a repost on Facebook, things like that help. But then, of course, there's also the financial aspect. If your friend is putting on a show or is a part of a show, if it's one thing if you simply just can't afford it. I've been in those situations where I really want to go support a friend, but I just don't have the money at hand at all to go pay for whatever show it is. And it's never the price that's the problem. If I have it, I'm gonna go support, whether it's $5 or $50, if you are a personal friend of mine and you are an artist and you are expressing yourself via your passion, I want to see it. I want to support it. I'm gonna be there, But if I just can't afford it, I'm gonna let you know, I don't have it right now, but I'd love to at least promote and say I got a friend that's doing X, Y, and Z. Let me post on Facebook, social media, what have you, that this person is doing this thing. And I don't know, it's strange because I'll see people who will gather the money. There are people who I've seen people miss out on paying their rent because they chose to go watch Beyonce, The Weeknd, Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, whosoever in concert, as opposed to taking care of their needs. It's really never okay to satisfy your wants if your needs have to suffer. But that's a whole nother subject. My thing is, I feel like people will go out of their way to go to these sort of shows to support these bigger artists who probably don't even care who you are. Their focus is maintaining their stardom. And there's nothing wrong with that. But my thing is, if you're willing to go through all that effort to go to their show, why would you not put forth the effort to go watch your friend perform, whatever type of performance it is, for $5, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50. It's your friend. That's worth 2, 3, 4 times as much as going to Barclays, I guess, and sitting at the very top of the venue where you can barely see anything unless you're looking at the screen. That's nothing compared to going and seeing your friend perform in a hole-in-the-wall venue, but giving you legit artistry from their heart, I prefer that over anything. I just love art in general, and I love artists because it's the truest way to express yourself, I believe. It's the most beautiful way to express yourself. And I realize, I can easily or do sound like such a cornball, a softie, whatever you want to say, but it is what it is. I love art, and I'm going to continue to support art. I'm going to continue to push art. I'm going to continue to love art. Heck, I've even considered, looking into teaching art, I just love art in general. I don't know that there's much more to say. in respect to artists supporting artists. I just really, somebody's driving fast outside, my goodness, and this is a residential area. What's going on? Oh, it's like back to back to back. I'm looking at the security system. But yeah, what is going on outside? Can you guys hear that? I hope not. I'm probably telling myself for no reason. It doesn't matter. Either way. Well, if you're hearing that, that's my dog snoring. What's going on, Prince? So I shouldn't have said his name. That's gonna make him jump up and think we're gonna go for a walk. We're not walking now. What is he doing? I don't know. But either way, art I know is supposed to be completely authentic. It means nothing if it's inauthentic, you know. And sometimes your art will hurt feelings. What you gonna do? You know, it is what it is. Art is supposed to inspire, ignite, and awaken. And that just kind of brings me back to my days of dealing with major labels, you know. I don't know, thank goodness I've actually co-founded a label with some friends of mine. We go by the Label Noir. That's our label name. And we're doing very well considering that we just established ourselves. You know, we've already gone on tour overseas. We've got tours coming up this summer, which I'll definitely update you on as, you know, things as details become more finalized. But you know, going back, my dealings with major labels, you know, I remember I had one label approach me, and this was like not too long after Chris Brown really just came out of nowhere and started blowing up. I think this is when Chris Brown was 15 or 16 years old that he came out. When did he come out with Run It? He was 15 when he came out, I believe. But me, I am about 4 years older than Chris Brown. So I was pretty much just entering college. And I remember when the label took me on, they told me straightforward, you know, well, there's this young guy that came out finally and he just exploded onto the scene, and you know, he's a little light-skinned kid, and you know, he's the it boy of the moment. But along with him there's Trey Songz, and there was another young guy that was popping at the time, but he kind of disappeared. It might have been Lloyd, I don't know. But they basically told me, you know, well, we have you're tall. They told me straightforward. They said, you know, we want you to, we're gonna put you with a trainer. You're gonna lose a lot of weight. We're gonna get you to look a certain way. And I was cool with that because I wanted to lose weight anyway, you know. I wanted to be sexy for the ladies because I'm singing R&B. But then they went forward and told me, but this is, we're gonna sort of change your style up a bit. You know, you fortunately for us, you have a phenomenal R&B voice. So we're gonna put you with different producers, give you a younger sound, and you're gonna dance, you know. And while I'm not necessarily a bad dancer, I'm not Chris Brown by any means, you know. And for the record, I am a fan of Chris Brown. I actually own all his albums, you know. His first album is still my favorite personally, though. You know, Young Love, that's my jam. But and Poppin', yo, I used to play Poppin' on that album over and over and over and over. That joint was crazy. But I digress. Yeah, they basically told me, you know, we want our Chris Brown, you know, and that's normal in the industry, you know. Just like how there was Britney Spears, you know, RCA decided, oh, well, we have Christina Aguilera. She has the voice. Let's, you know, manufacture her into, you know, a Britney with a voice. You know, that was their plan. And again, that's kind of what happened with Toni Braxton, and that was mentioned. I say that because I read that in Sing to Me by L.A. Reid. He mentions that when Toni Braxton came along, Clive had his Whitney, Tommy Mottola had Mariah, and they wanted their diva, and Toni Braxton was that for them. So this label that I was dealing with, they wanted me to be their Chris Brown. They said, you're tall, you're light skinned, X, Y, and Z, you got this voice. This is what we're gonna do. And at first I was going along with it because I was like, okay, it can't be that bad. Chris Brown sings R&B, it's cool, But I have certain morals that I want to hold on to. At the end of the day, I'm still a believer in Christ. There are certain things that I don't necessarily want to sing about, certain things that I don't necessarily want to, certain words that I don't necessarily want to use in my music. I have nieces, I have nephews and a niece, and I want to be a positive role model. One day I hope to be married and have a son, and I want to be a positive role model to my son, especially as a man of color, And so I made the mistake of, speaking up. If I really didn't like something, I would say, I'm really not that cool with this, can we change that? And they weren't feeling that too much, and eventually I was pretty much shelved until, contract. Got out of the contract, basically. And I just was kind of figuring life out after this. I just focused on school, on college. This was around the time where I kind of decided I didn't want to pursue art at all anymore. No singing, no acting. But I had a professor that actually pulled me back into theater. Excuse me. I had a professor that actually pulled me into a theater show that was taking place at my college, and just reignited my fire for performing. I remember many years later, this wasn't too long ago, about maybe 3 years ago, I was working with another producer whom I was excited to work with, but he was associated with a major label also. And he kind of fooled me though, because he made me feel like my opinion, my morals, my thoughts mattered. And he would tell me like, yeah, absolutely, I want to hear what your thoughts are. I want to know what you think. I want to, X, Y, and Z, tell me everything. And I was like, oh shoot, this is great. This is going to work out. And then plus he was really into that, deep R&B, that I'm going to love you all night R&B, which is the R&B I love. And so he, yeah. He kind of fooled me, because what would happen is he would ask my opinion or listen to my opinion, and I would give it, in complete, I would give it wholeheartedly. And he would basically just go, all right, cool, I get that. That's not what we're gonna do though. Here's what we're gonna do. I appreciate your commentary, but this is what we're gonna do. Basically just throwing away my feelings and my thoughts and opinions. And the first time I was kind of like, well, all right, he means well, he's trying to, build something here. The second time, I had to kind of give him the side eye, like, did I get fooled? Did I get duped? What is this? And then thirdly, the third time, I had to just thank goodness, like he gave me a contract to sign. And I took the contract and I never signed it. I just honestly kept trying to sort of get past it. Like I figured, okay, eventually he's gonna forget about the contract. I wanna wait some time and see where this goes, how this goes. Because if I had signed that contract, because I read the contract, I would have been screwed. Like I would have had to pay some lawyer a great deal of money to let me out of that contract, to help me get out of that contract, And fortunately, I never did. What ended up happening is that we were going to shoot a music video for one of my songs, a song that I wrote and produced and recorded and such. We were going to shoot a video for it, but I really didn't love the idea of the video because it didn't match the song. And so reluctantly for like weeks, I was just so stressed out because I was like, this doesn't make any sense, and then I was thinking like, oh crap, the church folk are gonna kill me, for a video like this. This isn't what I'm about anyway. Why do I need to do this? And I woke up I think the day before, or maybe 2 days before we were supposed to shoot this video, and something in my spirit was just like, look, cut your losses. It's gonna go down, but let him know that you're not with this and you need to step down. And it was easy for me to step down because I never signed anything. And the song that we were gonna use for my video was my song that I owned and I copyrighted and everything. So I was safe, I was secure in all that. This dude, this producer, sent me, this is where you get to see people's true colors. He actually ended up sending me this long text message, basically cursing me out, calling me all sorts of names, calling me out my name left, right, up, and down, telling me how much money he spent preparing for this video and this and that. And quite frankly, even though I didn't have it, like I already had it set in mind that, if he comes at me on that note, then I'll find the money and give him back his money for whatever he already spent on preparing for this video. Fortunately, it never got to that. But I just remember, like I even saved that text message. I lost the text message when my phone, broke down and I had to get a new one. But I remember seeing this text message, and like I know people will say things when they're hurt, but I remember somebody in high school once said that, when somebody goes off in their anger, she believes everything that person says, because when you're angry, that's when you just, completely let go of any and all filters and you just let it all hang out. And so those things he said to me, it seemed like it was a great thing. It was by the grace of God that I didn't, go any further working with him. And then I began to hear other things from other people that was working with him or had worked with him, and realized that I made out like a bandit, I mean, still, I wish him the best, because he's a talented man, a talented producer, just not for me to work with, So that experience is actually what helped me to decide to start working on my own terms, Even though technically I really didn't want to, I had no desire to start a label. But it was my friend, my boy, Ursa Major. If you don't know who he is, check him out. Look him up on SoundCloud, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Ursa Major, Spotify. Go and check out his music. It's phenomenal music, and I've produced some of that music. So go ahead and check it out. Stream it. I'll probably, do like a link thing, in the description box, or if I figure out how to do it, I'll put a link or post something in the video itself. I'm still figuring all this stuff out. But yeah, he approached me and said, hey, you sing, I rap, we've worked together, we do collaborate very well together. And he said, we should do this. Let's come together and start this label, and let's create a space where we can create what we want, how we want, when we want, and just have a house that we can keep all of our creations in. Not a literal house, obviously. Well, eventually, maybe, it'd be nice to have a space that can be the home of the label. But, he brought that to me, and he doesn't know this, but I was so reluctant at first because I have no desire. I had no desire to be a part of the business aspect of the business. I'm an artist. I just want to create music and sing it and perform it and share it and create music videos and just love and just share myself with the world, But I trusted him, and I trusted our other business partners who are co-founders of this label. And again, he doesn't know this. There was a point where I was just ready to just walk away from the label. It was so hard. I am and can be business savvy when necessary, but this was the first time where I had to be business savvy whilst being an artist. That's usually what a manager does, but when you're running the label, you have to put your say in. You have to really, read the fine print and everything, and that's hard. But yeah, this video is actually becoming longer than I intended. Although I kind of like this. I like videos like this where I'm just sort of sitting and speaking and just letting it all hang out, figuratively. Well, I guess I'll just try to end it here. Basically, the Label Noir has been a phenomenal experience for me. We've been able to go on tour. The label has gone overseas. We've gone to certain places in the country of the United States. We're planning to go on tour again for the summer. Like I said, once the details are finalized, I will bring that to you. We've just been networking like crazy, building a fan base, and it's all just becoming this beautiful thing. And yeah, so actually the label is actually what kind of pushed and inspired me to start doing YouTube videos. We're trying to find all sorts of ways to bring money to ourselves and the label via art, and yeah, so I'm here. I don't know how I got all the way here from supporting artists, from artists supporting artists, but I'm gonna bring it back home. Artists, we gotta support each other. Actually, I guess it all comes full circle, because that's what this label is about. We support every artist that is doing something phenomenal. We go to the shows, we network, we collab, those artists end up coming to our shows. We have a few residencies as a label, so that's another thing. We have a few residencies. We've earned a few residencies based on all the work we put in as a label. And so because of that, we're able to do our shows, put on our showcases, and, invite other artists who are not necessarily a part of the label to come and be a part and grow your fan base, and it's sort of a win-win. You bring your fan base to the showcase to come and support you. They get to see other artists that they might end up liking, follow them on social media. You get to meet other artists, you get to collab. I don't know if you heard that, I belched a little bit, I'm sorry, my bad. I'm human, I'm sorry. If Wendy could burp on TV, I could burp on YouTube, I'm sorry. But the point I'm trying to make is, we do this for each other, and we do this for the love of art. And, please come be a part of the journey. Especially if you're in New York, come network with us. Let's grow together. Let's help each other. Let's do this thing. Really. Please, if you're watching this video, if you've actually watched this whole video, from what I can see, it's about to be about 25 minutes. Thank you. Thank you for sitting down and watching this video. If you so feel to, subscribe. You don't have to subscribe now. I always say watch this video or watch another 2 or 3 of my videos and see if my content is something that perks your interest. And if so, then subscribe. Definitely it would help me out a great deal. I'd love to have your viewership. Like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you'd like to see. I'm getting to my cover videos, and I'd be greatly interested in knowing what it is that you want to hear. I really love all genres of music. My heart is in soul R&B, but I'll do anything. Heck, I could turn anything into soul. I do what I want. I'm an artist. I'll make it work. Whatever you throw at me, I'll make it work. Trust and believe. But with that said, thank you so much for watching, and God bless.